Locally and internationally, there's a shortage in aviation skills due to the fact that the military in the past was the main source of aviation skills for the private sector. With cutbacks in military budgets, the ability to retain staff, and that coupled with international growth in the aviation sector, amplified the problem of aviation skills. This project doesn't differ from any other aviation project. We focus predominantly on previously disadvantaged individuals. It's government funded, but the basic principles are in line with the Civil Aviation Authority's regulations and focuses on safety and discipline of the pilot. We've focused on existing awareness programs of private individuals with a passion of flying to get to the rural areas to identify resources from those areas. Those are people that will never get the opportunity to become pilots because of the cost of it, and we've decided to focus on them to become pilots.
Everyone can apply for the project. Specifically, we're looking for persons from disadvantaged backgrounds, anyone who's under the age of 30 with good matric results, particularly with physical sciences, maths, geography, also should be proficient in English, and should also be single. The training is done in George in the Western Cape. The students would commence their training on the basic two-seater trainer on the Cessna fleet, namely a Cessna 150, and they would progress through their training up to the point of receiving a private pilot license, which would probably be done on a Cessna 152 or a Cessna 172. The training period takes approximately 20 months, and they are trained right from the initial stage with no previous flying experience up to the point where they receive a commercial pilot license.
This initiative is funded by the National Skills Fund. They are part of the Department of Higher Education and Training under a special projects funding window. This is a very complicated project in such that there are not many learners on the project, but the project is very expensive. It's very expensive to train a pilot. Therefore, what we did with this specific project is we had a very stringent recruitment process. And after the recruitment process, we designed the project in such a manner that we gave ourselves the opportunity to replace learners should they not cope within the first month or two of the project. We cannot afford a learner on this project not to be successful at the end of the day because of the high costs involved in training pilots. Currently we've got one qualified pilot with another 16 in the process of being qualified within the next few months.
Each student is assigned to an instructor, and that instructor is responsible for the students' training throughout their training period of approximately 20 months. The training includes classroom lectures where the student is trained through 8 different subjects. We have mock exams which they're able to rehearse and prepare themselves for their examinations. They're also briefed and debriefed before each flight, so each lesson that is flown, they're thoroughly prepared for what they are going to encounter. They obviously have the training environment in the aircraft itself, which is a one-on-one training session with the instructor. We also use simulators so that the student can be prepared using a simulator training device, which is a model of the aircraft. So it's a full replica of the aircraft cockpit, and they are trained in there to prepare them for training towards instrument training and procedural work.
The selection and training process was very rigorous. Had many questions. We had to do medical examinations, psychometric tests. Maths and science was very important, and our personality traits, how we deal with stress, was also monitored. So it was very rigorous and very difficult.
I decided to apply for this specific program because I wanted to become a pilot, but I didn't have enough money to pursue it as a career. People from rural areas don't consider aviation as a possible career because I think it is lack of exposure. They're not exposed to the aviation and the limited resources. So they don't consider it as a possible career because of that, and mostly because they think it's a dangerous career, so they don't take it.
For the students that are coming from rural areas or previously disadvantaged communities, certainly a challenge that we have is their exposure to the aviation industry, and many of them have never driven a car, and now we expect them to actually fly an aircraft. And so we need to allow more time for them to learn the skills of coordination and various aspects of peripheral vision, which are not something that they normally would encounter as most young people coming from urban areas.
Now I'm a qualified pilot, but with a commercial pilot license fresh from school, you can't get a job. So my future plans are to do my instructor's rating, my multi-engine rating, and then build my hours up to about 500 hours and apply at the national carriers such as SA Express, SAA, SAA Link.
Future plans of this initiative are to focus on additional pilots, at least another 18, and to take the existing pilots from 200 hours to 500 hours to make them marketable to places like SA Express and so on.